Hey there, guys. In about a week, I am going to be hand raising some baby parrots. Now, in order to do that, I am going to need a transportable brooder box so that I can keep them at the appropriate temperature at all times. Now, there are a lot of commercially available models, but they can get to be a little bit pricey. So in today's video, I am going to show you guys how I made my own using a styrofoam drink cooler. For a fraction of the cost, it accomplishes everything that I want it to do. So if that's something you guys are interested in seeing, make sure to stick around because that's going to be coming up right after this. Hey there, guys. This is Jack over at Hi Red Bird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. And in today's video, I wanted to showcase how I built a custom DIY brooder box. Now, for me, one of the most exciting aspects of animal care is getting to hand raise baby birds. Not only is it a lot of fun for me, I get to see these birds grow, and they grow so quickly. So getting to be a part of that is absolutely incredible, at least as far as I'm concerned. But I also know that when those birds are hand raised, they're going to be calmer around people. They're going to have much better potential as future pets. So when that bird goes to its forever home, not only is its owner going to be appreciative of having a bird that is calm and comfortable around people, but any other people that bird interacts with are going to have a changed perception of birds. If that bird is calm and comfortable around them, family members, friends who interact with that bird are going to realize that, hey, birds are pretty cool. And for me, that's one of the best ways to ensure the future of aviculture, by ensuring that people who normally wouldn't think about birds as pets or who don't have the best interaction or history with them get the opportunity to see birds in that light. Now, in raising baby birds, there's a couple of things you need to take into consideration. And I am actually about to start raising some baby birds. So if you guys have not yet gone ahead and subscribed to the channel, you want to go ahead, give this video a thumbs up. You want to subscribe to the channel, and you want to hit the little bell notification so that you guys get notifications whenever I put up new videos, because you are going to want to see these baby birds that I am going to be hand raising. I am going to be starting with some green cheek conures that will be starting to be hand fed at 10 days old. Now, what that means is that they are going to be absolutely tiny and completely dependent on me for everything. At that age, a bird doesn't have the ability to control its body temperature. It's going to be covered in a downy fluff. So I need to have a brooder box that I can use to transport that bird around. So there's a couple of things that I'm looking for in a brooder box. I want something that can provide the temperature that the birds need. I want something that's going to be transportable, because these birds are going to be going everywhere with me. They'll go home, they'll go to work, they travel with me in the car. So I need something that's easy to transport. Since these are baby birds, I need something that is easy to clean, because cleanliness is the main factor that is going to control the health and well-being of your baby birds. You need to try to keep everything as clean as possible with baby birds, because they don't have much of an immune system. They don't have much of an ability to handle anything like that. So there's a couple of different options there. There are many commercially available brooder boxes that you guys can look into, and they'll have a variety of different features. My problem with those is that they usually start around $300 to $400, and I'm not exactly made of money. At this point, I do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for subscribing, for helping to support and sponsor these videos, and all of the materials that I'm using for things like the Ultimate Parrot Play Gym series, which if you guys haven't taken a look at, it'll be right up there. But it's a whole lot of fun, but thank you guys so much for that. If you guys are interested in becoming a Patreon patron, there will be a link in the description section down below. Another way that you guys can support the channel, I have t-shirts. So you guys can visit my Threadless store. Again, the link to that will also be in the description section. Get yourself a t-shirt and help support the channel. So that'll be some great ways that you guys can help support all the educational content that I'm putting out. And of course, if you just want to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, that's a great way to support the channel as well. But For right now, I have a DIY brooder box until I get to the point where I can afford something nicer. And realistically, I'm really happy with this setup, so I don't know that I would buy something nicer. Now, I am using a styrofoam drink cooler for this incubator. So the cost of that is going to be $6 or $7, depending on where you live. And then I am also using the hardware from a styrofoam chicken incubator. You can get those at most feed stores. Some hardware stores will carry them. Usually priced somewhere around $40 to $50. So of course you can also find used ones, because a lot of people think, hey, I want to raise chickens, and they'll get an incubator and they'll raise one batch of chickens, and then they'll realize, I don't really want to do this. So you can find them even cheaper. I've been able to find incubators for 20 or 25 bucks. So if you can find one that cheap, I mean, we're looking at a setup here that's going to be less than 30 bucks. Now there's a couple of things you want to take into consideration. So the hardware for your chicken incubator is going to comprise a couple of parts. You're going to have a thermostat. It's going to have some way for you to adjust the temperature. So this one has this on the outside with the buttons. Then on the inside it has the panel. The heating element and the heating sensor will both connect to that thermostat. Now the way this works, I set a temperature on this. The heating element kicks on. Once the heating sensor picks up a certain temperature, it'll go ahead, turn the heating element off. Once that temperature cools a little bit, it'll tell the thermostat to turn the heating element back on. So it's pretty straightforward. Now this model that I have right here actually has a power cord that attaches to the thermostat, which means that everything is located inside the lid. So that means that if I am working inside the brooder box, I can go ahead, I can set the lid aside. I don't have to worry about it having a hinge or anything like that. I can also take this entire portion, because the birds will be right in there. If it gets dirty, and it's baby birds, it will get dirty. I can go ahead, take this to the sink, completely rinse everything out. Now I was able to repurpose one of the viewing windows. This was actually on the top of the chicken incubator as well. So I just, let's see if I can pop that out. I just cut out a space that was slightly smaller than the window, so that then I do have to push a little bit to get the window to fit in, but that means that it's very, very snug. I don't have to worry about using adhesive or anything like that. Now, the more that I put it in, the more that I take it out, I'm probably going to end up having to use an adhesive that'll secure the window in place. But for right now, it's really nice because it gives me one more thing that I can take apart to go ahead and detail clean. Now, all of the hardware that I'm using for this actually came from an incubator that I was just going to throw away. I have a styrofoam incubator, or rather I had a styrofoam chicken incubator, and I had it in a room where I had to put one of my umbrella cockatoos in his travel carrier for about 3 minutes. Now, this umbrella cockatoo, when he is bored, has the ability to open up his travel carrier, and I know this. But I figured, what's the worst that he can do in about 3 minutes? And anyone who has an umbrella cockatoo will tell you, if you ever ask yourself that, you are in for a world of hurt. In fact, if we have any cockatoo owners watching this video, go ahead in the comment section, put what is the worst thing your bird has ever done in a time frame you didn't expect it to do, because cockatoos are absolutely incredible. So in 3 minutes, this bird got out of its travel cage, climbed across the room, and took my styrofoam chicken incubator and turned about half of the styrofoam into decorative snow. It was completely destroyed. Now, I was just going to throw it out, but the hardware was all still usable. The viewing window was still usable. So I instead decided to put it into this. Now, I had all the hardware separate with me. I had it in my pockets when I went to go pick out the cooler that I wanted this to go in. Because one of the things I had to check, I had to make sure that all of these sections would fit. I wanted to make sure it was something that was big enough. So I test fit it in the store. And I asked one of the clerks to help me. And apparently it was a very weird request. And as I'm trying to fit everything into place, it almost seemed as though, he was concerned that I was trying to build some kind of explosive device or something like that. After I explained that, no, this is for raising baby birds, he said, okay, still looked at me like I was crazy. And if you guys aren't prepared to have people look at you like you're crazy, you really need to consider whether or not you're that interested in saving money while you're doing animal things, because we're going to be doing some things that will probably cause people to look at you like you're crazy. It's fine. As long as the animals don't think you're crazy, who cares? But no, I got everything in here to fit really nicely. And there's a couple of things I like about this. So you can see this one is built with individual drink holders on the lid. Now what that means is this lid is a little bit deeper. So all the equipment can fit in there. I told you guys I'm a little bit concerned about the possibility of a bird trying to give a feeding response to this. Now obviously the box itself is a lot deeper, so it's going to be a lot harder to reach that. But if necessary, I could go ahead, I could section this off with like a piece of plastic lighting diffuser, a piece of wire mesh, basically just to keep it so that the bird can't get to it. Now, one thing I do want to point out with all of this, I am not expecting this to work the exact same way that it did on an incubator. The reason for that is when this is made for an incubator, it's made with different criteria in mind. Obviously, it's made with a different sense of space. The heating element and the heating sensor are meant to be a certain distance apart, and if you can't provide that the way that it was in the incubator, it's not going to register right. You may get higher or lower temperatures because, you know, that if the sensor is used to thinking that a certain temperature means that it's 95 degrees in there, but if it's closer to the heater, it's going to register as hotter. So, you know, if you can't provide the same distance, you're going to have a way to check the temperature. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's going to be next to impossible to provide the same distance, especially take into consideration that this is much deeper. You're not really going to have the ability to provide that. But even if you ever have to take apart a chicken incubator, use all the same equipment, in theory, put it back in the exact same place, I'm going to recommend that you find the ability to check your temperature, because even then it may not be right. So I do have an external thermometer that I can go ahead and just use in this box. Now with this, I have found that this registers at a different temperature. It's about 9 degrees off. So basically, if I want this to be about 95 degrees, which is where I'm going to want to start my little birds at, I need to have this set to 104 degrees. And I know that because the thermometer told me that at 95 degrees, this was only registering about 87. So I just went from there, adjusted from there. So go ahead, if you're going to make this, obviously you're going to need some time to learn how to fine tune that. And, you know, it is going to be a little bit trickier in that regard, but you could make this for, you know, 50 to 60 bucks on the expensive end. So we're expecting it to be a little bit trickier. Now, this does have a couple of other features that I like. It does have a carrying handle. Not all drinks coolers are going to have a carrying handle, so I want to make sure it has that. You also want to make sure that it has some little latches. So these just latch onto the side. They hold on very, very nicely. Now, because it has those drink holders, not only does that give me the opportunity to have all of that extra space in the lid, but it also means that when I am feeding and stuff, I have places I can put syringes for hand feeding. If I want to put a roll of paper towels, and if you guys have never hand-raised baby birds, let me tell you right now, you're going to go through so many paper towels. But this is a really easy setup. I know a lot of people really, really want a higher-end brooder box, but the price can just be a prohibitive factor. So I hope if you guys like this, you guys can go ahead and build your own. Now, of course, if you guys want to see this in action, in about a week, I'm going to be starting a video where you'll be able to see that as well. So by seeing baby birds growing in there, you'll recognize that this does exactly what I want it to do. Now, it can be a little bit finicky. It can be trickier to set the temperature, but I'm perfectly comfortable checking the thermometer. It's just going to be on the inside of the brooder box. So you can see that's why I used one that is plastic with no hard edges. I just want to make sure that it's going to be something that's safe in case the birds go to explore it. But this is going to work absolutely great. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to do here on this channel. Help you guys find alternative to things if they get a little bit too expensive. Help you guys figure out new ways to provide for your animals. So I certainly hope this has been helpful. I am looking forward to raising my baby green cheek conures in this. I certainly hope to see you guys next time, and I do want to thank you guys oh so much for choosing to watch these videos. Do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Red Bird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!